Hello and welcome back to this channel Comic Books. Today, we will be doing a recap of a DC Universe visual novel called Senistro Corp War. The story centers on the Green Lanterns of Earth, Hal Jordan, Kyle Rayner, John Stewart, and Guy Gardner, and the rest of the Green Lantern Corps as they fight an interstellar war against the Senistro Corps, an army led by the former Green Lantern Senistro who are armed with yellow power rings and seek a universe ruled through fear. In Senistro, Hal Jordan's former mentor and arch-nemesis has gathered an army of soldiers fueled by the fear they instill in others, consisting of Arkillo, Carusil, the cyborg Superman, and more of the most terrifying villains the universe has ever seen. The epic adventure that set the stage for Blackest Night. The Senistro Corps War was a 2006 storyline in the larger War of Light. It is written by Jeff Johns with art by various artists, including Ethan Van Sciver, Patrick Gleason, and Ivan Reis. It was published in Green Lantern and Green Lantern Corps, as well as several one-shot specials. Chapter 1. At the beginning of the chapter we see Senistro reflecting on his past as a Green Lantern. His banishment from the Corps and subsequent battles with Hal Jordan and Kyle Rayner recites the oath of the Senistro Corps as he charges his yellow power ring. Hoping to learn more about the Senistro Corps after Batman had nearly been drafted into its ranks, the Justice League attempts to question Zoom about the whereabouts of Senistro, his former secret society of supervillains teammate. The speedster escapes their clutches, revealing nothing. Hal Jordan decides that answers will best be found on Oa and flies off. In Sector 424, Graf Torin and Vodem encounter a yellow power ring flying indiscriminately through space, nearly destroying a spaceborne church lying in its path. They are joined by Kyle Rayner, who, through the power of Ion, is able to capture the ring. Unfortunately, it isn't the only one, as dozens of other rings fly past them. In Sector 3, Bedovian receives a message from Arkillo. It's time to wake up. On Oa, the Guardians of the Universe question the imprisoned cyborg Superman about his knowledge of the multiverse. Henshaw has discovered that New Earth is the keystone of the multiverse, and if it is destroyed, so will the rest of the multiverse, leaving only the antimatter universe intact. The Guardians suspect that Henshaw plans to do this, noting his destruction of Coast City, which allowed Parallax to gain control of Hal Jordan. They also note that Coast City, though rebuilt, is largely empty despite Hal Jordan's protection. It remains a place of fear. Henshaw counters that without life, there will be no fear, avarice, or hate, while Ganthet and Sade, a female Guardian, counter that with life, there is hope, compassion, and love. The two believe that an ancient prophecy known as the Blackest Night is coming to pass. The other Guardians, however, dismiss the prophecy and order Henshaw imprisoned for all eternity to preserve the safety of the multiverse. Meanwhile, Guy Gardner visits Salak, trying to get Hal, Kyle, and John Stewart an audience with the Guardians. Hal has brief incident with the other Lost Lanterns, much to John's annoyance. Kyle is moody, remembering that his mother's will is being read on this day. All he really wanted from her estate was a painting of a boy in a field, which they used to make stories about. However, as they're speaking, the yellow ring transports Kyle to the antimatter universe world of Q-Ward. Here, he witnesses a massive gathering of the Senistro Corps. He is noticed, and is soon captured by Senistro. Meanwhile, Oa is attacked by a strike team of Senistro Corps members. Bedovian starts off with a sniper attack, 3 sectors away, and continues firing until John Stewart takes him down with his own sniper rifle. After the battle, which results in many Green Lantern deaths, Hal, Guy, and John learn that Superboy Prime has been freed from his science cell. On Q-Ward, Senistro tortures Kyle, and reveals that Ion is a willpower entity that was bonded to Kyle, and removes it from him. Senistro further reveals that his mother didn't contract a mysterious virus, but was instead infected by Despotelli, a sentient biovirus and Senistro Corps member, as Kyle's fear is losing the people he loves. All but broken, a frightened and weakened Kyle is sent into the Yellow Lantern Central Power Battery, and possessed by Parallax. He is announced to be, along with Henshaw and Superboy Prime, the herald of the Senistro Corps Guardian of Fear. On Oa, Ganthet and Sade feel a wave of coldness wash across the emotional spectrum, and fear that a great evil has returned. Heading into their base, Senistro and Parallax enter a room where Henshaw is being repaired and Superboy Prime is outfitted with new armor. Senistro announces that the Corps is ready as he and Parallax bow before their Guardian ... the Anti-Monitor. Chapter 2. On Oa, the Green Lantern Corps are tending to the wounded following the Senistro Corps attack. Although 20 were killed just in this attack, the Senistro Corps continue to hunt Green Lanterns across the universe. Hal Jordan notices Tomer 2 unconscious, and moves to help him, but the Lost Lanterns fire a blast at him and tell him to back off. Guy Gardner has just about had enough, and is ready to tear into them, to which Jack T. Chance and Kahan are more than willing to oblige. Kilowog steps in and tells them all to stand down. or he'll remind them all why he was the trainer. Jon Stewart and Kilowog ask where the Guardians of the Universe are. In the library of the Book of Oa, the Guardians of the Universe are preparing to remove the prophecy of the Blackest Night from the book. Ganthet and Sade oppose this move, saying that by ignoring threats that they are making themselves vulnerable. The other Guardians dismiss the Blackest Night as lies made by the Empire of Tears and destroy the chapter. Across the universe, the Senistro Corps continue their campaign against the Green Lanterns. Senistro observes events with Superboy Prime and the cyborg Superman and promises Prime that they will all get what they want. Fear will deliver the universe to them, and the universe will be better for it. On Oa, Hal receives a secret message from Ganthet and Sade. The Senistro Corps are an unprecedented threat, and the Green Lanterns need a strong leader. Ganthet and Sade believe that Hal is that leader. Hal disagrees, saying that the Corps trusts Senistro more than him. He'll fight the Senistro Corps, but he won't be leading anyone. Ganthet says that despite Hal's ability to overcome great fear, there is still one thing he cannot overcome. Ganthet offers to help him do that. Hal says that if he wants to help him, he'll tell him where to find Kyle. Ganthet says that he's on Q Ward, but they must go now. They promise to do all they can to help the Earthmen, and they promise to hope. Rejoining the others, Guy says that the Lost Lanterns are heading to Rescue Island. Hal and John decide that they're all going, and begin recharging their rings in the central power battery. Just as they're finishing, yellow tendrils grab the Earth Lanterns, pulling them into the battery. Alone, Hal suddenly hears Parallax. He knows that Hal claims to have overcome his fear when his father died, but there is something else that Hal fears, if his father died in fear. Parallax shows Hal his father's crash, and that his father did say something, but he'll never know what. As the vision ends, Hal finds himself on Q Ward. Chapter 3, on Oa. The Guardians of the Universe observe the state of the war with the Senistro Corps. Kilowog has led a force to defend Mogo, while the rest of the Green Lantern Corps is recalled to Oa. Soranik Nadu refuses to acknowledge the order, however, still dealing with the crowds hailing her as a hero. On Q Ward, Parallax, inside Kyle Rayner, battles Hal Jordan, mocking him over what Martin Jordan's final words were. He also mentions that Jon Stewart and Kyle Rayner are being tortured as they fight. Hal is then forced to stare Ammon Sir and an army of Senistro Corps soldiers. Ammon mocks him, saying that the Green Lanterns have abandoned him. At that moment, however, Kahan and the Lost Lanterns arrive, with Kahan saying that the Green Lanterns do not abandon their own. On the moon, Superboy Prime observes Earth. In Sector 3601, the cyborg Superman oversees the Manhunter's work on the New World. Opening a communication with the Anti-Monitor, Cyborg Superman gives a status report, then asks for a reward when they conquer Earth for all the destructions that he has suffered. Hank Henshaw has been unable to die. The Anti-Monitor promises to succeed where Superman and the Green Lantern have failed for so long and kill Henshaw. On Q Ward, the Lost Lanterns join Hal in fighting the Senistro Corps, though saving Hal is an unintended consequence. Boudica immediately accuses Hal of working with the Senistro Corps, but Graf Torrin dismisses the idea. Hanu explains that they're here to find Ion, only for the Lanterns to discover two surprising facts. Not only is Ion a separate being from Kyle Rayner, but Parallax has taken Kyle Rayner. Parallax, for his part, is quite eager for a rematch with the Lost Lanterns and begins playing on their fears. Hanu fears using his Green Lantern ring, Boudica fears Parallax, and Jack Chance fears his family. His words begin to have an effect on Chance, making him afraid, and Parallax kills Chance, crushing his ring as it leaves to find a replacement. In rage, Boudica moves to kill Parallax, only for her ring to lock out once she tries to use lethal force. Hanu punches his way through the ground, making an escape route for the Green Lanterns. In the catacombs, Graf Torrin discovers that the walls are lined with an ancient text that reads "Fear infects" over and over. Lara uses her ring to locate Ion, while Hal uses his to locate John and Guy. They are being held in opposite directions, but Kahan orders them to go rescue Ion. Hal reminds Kahan of his words in not abandoning their own. Tomer too agrees to go with Hal out of respect for his father's friendship with Hal, as does Graf. The rest of the Lost Lanterns go to find Ion. Heading down the corridors of the Temple of Senistro, Hal, Tomer, and Graf make their way to John and Guy's holding place, where they discover their jailer, Lyssa Drac, the keeper of the Book of Parallax. And that's all for today, guys. Stay tuned to get more new videos. Stay safe and keep watching.